Okay, so Uber is doing something horrible, particularly horrible. In fact, it might even be against Apple's terms of service. Yeah, no, they are spamming political push notifications ahead of a key gig worker vote. What is the key gig worker vote? Well, there's something called Prop 22 in California, which Uber is trying to push through to circumvent a California law which would require Uber to classify drivers as employees. Now, if drivers are employees, they will get all the benefits of being an employee, like, for example, minimum wage, like unemployment if they are terminated or let go. So let's take a look at this article. It says Uber is one of a number of gig economy firms waging a $186 million campaign against a California state law that requires them to classify their workers as employees. So, all the gig apps are pushing through this Prop 22, which would exempt them from the law. The law actually was created for these exact companies, Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, right? You can't make them exempt. I mean, otherwise, well, you might as well be repealing the law. It doesn't make any sense. The proposition doesn't make any sense. So it says, true to its reputation, Uber is taking a particularly aggressive stance. They require drivers, they require users. So riders too, right? Users in California to confirm they'd seen a message before calling a ride, which told them that wait times and prices would increase if Prop 22 was passed. Basically blackmailing everyone in California by saying, oh, no, wait times and prices will increase because we're going to have to not have as many drivers on the road because we don't want to lose any profit at all. We don't care what's good for the California drivers. We only care about what's good for Uber. We want to maximize the amount of money we can make as a company. Really, really terrible stuff, in my opinion. So on social media, many Uber users complained about the notifications, pointing out that they seem to be breaking Apple's App Store rules. Okay, what are they talking about? Well, Apple doesn't want applications to be randomly pushing through notifications to people for obvious reasons, right? Because they don't want to annoy people, right? So we've reached out to the iPhone maker to see if Uber's notifications are kosher under the App Store guidelines, and they'll update once they know. I mean, and I'm sure Apple is going to let Uber skate because Uber is $1 billion company, right? But if it was a normal app, they'd be kicked off the platform. So here's a tweet by a guy named Jan Hemstad. Thanks, Uber, for the unwanted push notification political ad. At Apple development agreement clearly, at Apple. Development agreement clearly says 4.5.3, do not use Apple services to spam, phish, or send unsolicited messages to customers, including push notifications, or you will be removed from the developer program. Another writer did an at Uber. It said, can you stop sending political push notifications to my phone? We get it. You don't want to pay your employees a livable wage and you don't want to give them medical insurance. You've made that clear. Yeah, you've made it clear that you care more about your profit than about a guy making less than minimum wage that is making you billions of dollars. You soulless company. You've made that clear to the entire world. You've made it so clear that what government should be doing is competing against Uber themselves. You know who can run at a loss even better than SoftBank and Uber? The governments can. So these transportation authorities, these mass transit authorities, hell, even federal governments should be creating their own version of rideshare apps. All right. And any profit they get can go back to the taxpayers. That's what they should be doing. Well, we don't live in that kind of world. We live in a world of bare capitalism. Okay, Sam tweeted out, Uber just sent me a push notification that suggests I would be killing people if I voted for Prop 22. Who approved this message? Yeah, it says, that's the funny thing about the actual notification. It says Prop 22 will save lives. How will it save lives? Who's gonna die if Uber has to pay a livable wage to their employees? I don't understand. Will people die if there's longer wait times for Uber? I don't know what Uber is getting at. So clearly the notification itself was ridiculous, fear-mongering, blatantly political, and it should be, and against Apple's terms of service. So anyway, so here's Uber's argument. The argument that Uber makes is workers benefit from status of freelance contractor, and they do. You know, they can sign on when they want, they can get off when they want. It's extremely flexible, right? So yeah. So Uber benefits because they get a ready supply of labor and they don't have to pay medical insurance, etc. So that's the argument that Uber makes. So here's the argument that I make. All right, this is a sensible argument. This is one that isn't kind of biased towards Uber. And I don't think it's biased at all. I think that, listen, if you have rideshare employees that drive over 40 hours per week, then they should be considered employees. So you will have to pay them at least minimum wage. I think that's pretty fair. Prop 22 doesn't outright reject the need for these workers to access greater benefits. It said that the proposition says some wage guarantees and a pool of money that certain sick healthcare, sick days, etc., etc., etc. Prop 22 would only guarantee workers $5.64. In California, especially in some of these cities in California, where even $15 minimum wage is not enough to make ends meet. Like, that shouldn't even be the minimum wage. That's not even a livable wage. But at least $15 an hour can be as a respectable, near livable wage. If Uber drivers are only making $5.64 plus the depreciation, they could be losing money driving for Uber and not even realize it, right? Because you'll only realize that you're losing money driving for Uber when something happens to your car. Because this is a big thing that nobody ever thinks about with Uber. You are using your own vehicle that you've paid thousands of dollars for, and you are the one riding your vehicle down. You're the one that has to pay for all the maintenance on your vehicle. You have to pay for all the gas. And you have to factor that in with the money that you take in. So even in a scenario where Uber is required to pay minimum wage, the drivers still aren't making minimum wage because of the car depreciation. Anyway. So Uber and other gig companies are framing the new law as something of an existential threat to their businesses. That's ridiculous. From that point of view, a push notification, no matter how annoying, is worth sending out if it persuades even a few voters. It's worth sending out if Apple doesn't do anything about it. Sure, it's worth it. But if Apple kicks Uber off their platform, then Uber will be devastated. And that's what Apple, and if Apple is fair, that's what they should do. So right now, Uber has violated Apple's terms of service. Apple should remove them from their platform. And that's the end of it. Now, that would be an existential threat to their business. Not paying workers minimum wage. Minimum wage. I mean, not paying workers minimum wage. Apple actually doing something about this would destroy Uber. When reached by The Verge for comment, Uber said only that the app was sharing the voice of tens of thousands of drivers. Bullshit. Hey, listen, I'm a driver. I'm an Uber driver. I've talked to other Uber drivers, Uber Eats drivers, everybody, and I haven't found very many people. I mean, look, I have found some, but I have not found very many people that support not paying more, not giving the drivers more money. Who are all these drivers who are like, oh my God, we need Prop 22 to save Uber's profits? I haven't heard anybody say that. It's ridiculous. It's Uber claims 72% of drivers support Prop 22, with millions of riders in California, and keeping them informed on the stakes of the issue. If so many people care so much, you don't need to keep them informed, do you? If they care that much, if they cared about Prop 22, you wouldn't need to spam people, would you? If millions of riders cared about it. Anyway, so this was an article from The Verge. I encourage you guys to go check it out. Uber is spamming users with political push notifications. If anyone from Apple, I doubt it, but maybe whoever watches this video, hop on Twitter and just at Apple and say, listen, Apple, stop allowing Uber to use push notifications for political reasons. It's total nonsense. You don't allow anybody else to do that. So either punish Uber or stop them from doing this in the future. So that's it for, that's all I have to say about this topic. Remember to get out there and drive and thrive. And let me know in the comments below what you think about this. Do you support Uber, or do you support the people complaining about these ridiculous push notifications? You know my thoughts already, but I'd love to hear from you. And so have a good day.